Chapter 6 described the construction of the temple itself, with all its decoration inside. Chapter 7 begins by briefly describing the palace complex which the temple was a part of. Solomon makes one house for him, another for his Egyptian wife, and then 3 public buildings: the house of the forest of Lebanon, which receives the most description, the hall of pillars, and the hall of the throne. The buildings were for administration, justice, and one served as an armory. The temple was comparatively small, but the whole complex would have been very impressive. It was the public buildings into which people could enter and do various things which gave the most prestige to a monarchy. The rest of chapter 7 is given over to the bronze works done by Hiram. This includes all the utensils, but also the large items used in the cult itself. From the decoration, it seems as though there was a theme of creation, thus highlighting this God as the creator of the universe. The sea, for instance, might represent the primeval waters. The 2 pillars, Yakin and Boaz, were spectacular for their size and decoration. They have been the subject of much study and debate. What were they for? What did they represent? What do the names mean? One particular question is whether they were freestanding or served an architectural purpose. If you type Solomon's Temple into Google Images, you see some have them freestanding and others have them supporting the portico. One article I read argued they were gateposts which had symbolic value as a portal through which God had passed into the temple where he now dwelt. Their huge, imposing, and ornate appearance gave a person a sense of what mysteries were inside the temple, which was off limits to almost everyone, and otherwise looked rather flat and uninteresting. All the glory was inside, both literally and in terms of decoration. Chapter 8 deals with the dedication of the temple. It is a very grand affair with a colossal amount of sacrifice. At the end of chapter 6, there is the note that the temple was completed in the 8th month, and here, as it is now the 7th month, they have obviously waited a year to dedicate it. The reason appears to be to link it to the biggest of the 3 pilgrim festivals, Sukkot or Booths. Elsewhere in the Old Testament, this festival is also simply referred to as the Lord's Festival. After the ark is installed, a cloud fills the temple and shows that the presence of the Lord is now there, enthroned above the wings of the cherubim. The cloud is so thick that the priests cannot enter. We are reminded by this of Mount Sinai. Solomon quotes the Lord saying that he will dwell in thick darkness, but I have built for him a house. The temple interior was indeed dim, with light only coming from small openings high up in the walls and 10 lamps. The most holy place was at the back, and so was darker still. But in verse 27, Solomon utters the vital qualification, shaped as a rhetorical question. But will God indeed dwell on the earth? Even heaven and the highest heaven cannot contain you, much less this house that I have built. This highlights the graciousness of God in providing a place, one place for the one God, which people approach to pray for their many needs. Even if they are far off, they can still face this direction and pray and be heard. Although this is a time of great celebration with a sense of achievement in all this construction, Solomon's sermon is filled with awe and humility. He emphasizes God's grace and mercy and acknowledges Israel's frailty and sinfulness and the dire need to have such a place to seek forgiveness. It also serves as a light to the world so that the foreigner might come to it, have his prayer answered, and the glory of the Lord will go out into all the world as it should. This comes with a clear statement of monotheism in verse 60. The Lord is God, there is no other.